Yo, you already know what time it is. Welcome back to another Thinker versus Speaker recap. If you didn't know, my name is Marissa the Thinker, host of Thinker versus Speaker, a podcast where we talk about all things, anything, everything, life. And this is the part where I say all things, anything, everything, life, love, relationships, spirituality, anything we want to talk about. But let's be honest, I think it's time to start reevaluating how we intro this. You know what I'm saying? Because it seems like Thinker versus Speaker is turning into so much more. Like every week I sit down and I talk to different guests and we explore their worlds. We explore what it is that they do, why they do it, how they got into it, why they're passionate about it, and just so much more. So I don't know. What do y'all think? Let's talk about it a little bit. If y'all had to describe Thinker versus Speaker and what we do every week, help me come up with a tagline for it. We talk about everything. Nothing is off limits, but we talk about all of the different aspects of life and we get people's different perspectives and ideas about, what they do and why and so much more. So if y'all got any help for how I should introduce this show or what y'all get from the show, help me out. Tell me what it is that y'all think. How do y'all think that I should be introducing the show? Because we do talk about anything, everything, life. You know what I'm saying? We talk about all of those different things, but am I really encompassing what Thinker versus Speaker is with that? Let me know. You know what I'm saying? But yes, it's a podcast where we talk about the different aspects of life. And if you're into that type of thing, definitely make sure you check out the show. We're on all streaming platforms. I'm talking about Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, right here on YouTube where you're watching this recap, and so much more. So definitely make sure you go find that podcast, Thinker versus Speaker, and check us out because it's so much more than a regular podcast. I'm getting to a point where I hate even calling this a podcast because it's so many people with podcasts out here and I don't think that we doing the same thing. So you know what I'm saying? We on a whole different type of time over here. You know what I'm saying? But just to give y'all a little recap of what I've been up to. My birthday just passed. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say dirty 30, but I just turned 30, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I went out of town. I had family come into town. We went to Houston and, tore stuff up. I got to go to NASA, being lame with my little shirt, whatever. But you know what I'm saying? Well, I'm not being lame. I don't care what y'all think, but you know what I'm saying? I'm a nerd. I like NASA. I like the space shuttles. I like rockets and planes and all of those kinds of things. So, you know what I'm saying? I had to do it. I had to go to NASA one time. You know what I'm saying, with the family, and we had a good time, went down to Galveston, saw the beach, and just so much more. I had so much fun, y'all. So much fun. I don't know about y'all, but anytime that we have birthdays come up, or anytime I have a birthday come up, it always sends me down a road where I start reflecting. You know what I'm saying? And in the past, I used to always think about what I didn't have. That was the time where I kind of would beat myself up the most. I think my birthdays used to be some of the most depressing things for me in the past, where it's just what am I doing? What is life? And this time around, it wasn't the same. I think Donald said something similar to this before in his episode. His episode is called Geek of All Trades, right? It's called The GOAT. And it's something about being at this age where it's just I'm good. I'm happy. I'm content right now. That's not saying that things in my life are going perfect or that it's ideal, but honestly, I have no complaints. The things that are in my control that I can make better, I'm making better. The things that are out of my control, I understand are out of my control. And that in itself brings me peace. I think I spent so much of my 20s trying to control things that just were beyond me. And it would cause me so much frustration and send me down these roads of being sad and depressed. And, you know, now I'm at a point in my life where I realize that's not necessary. Like, I genuinely have everything that I need, you know. When it came to even going on this trip, like, I didn't have to do anything, you know. Like, I spent so much time, like, on the go, like trying to get episodes and work and take care of my dog and do this and do that and trying to just get my regular day-to-day life together, that I don't have a lot of time to think about, you know, like, oh, this next birthday, this next trip, all of these things. Like, I don't think like that. So I was lucky enough to have people in my life that care enough about me to, you know, plan that for me and take me out of town and, you know, give me that break and give me that vacation. Family that cared enough to take their time out and come down and see me and enjoy my birthday with me. And, you know, when you're able to see things like that, at least for me, like being able to recognize what I do have, it makes me so much more grateful. You know what I'm saying? Instead of looking at what I don't, because I spent so much of my 20s, you know, kicking myself over what I don't have. Like, oh, you don't have this, you thought you'd be that, or you thought whatever. Like, that stuff doesn't matter. It's not as important anymore. The thing that matters is the now. And I'm happy. I'm good. You know, I'm good. And that's what's important. So, you know, I had that time to reflect and, you know, really figure out, like, just really just be grateful. It was nothing to figure out. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing to figure out. I've been figuring things out the whole time. Like, now I'm at a point in life where I'm really just going with the flow, and it's good. Like, God got me, and it's good. So it's nothing to worry about. So shout out to everybody that wished me a happy birthday. Thank you. Shout out to my family that came to go see me. My parents for, you know what I'm saying, setting that up so I even could go out of town. Like, thank you. Honestly, like, I have no complaints. I pretty much got everything I wanted. The only thing that I didn't get that I wanted was seafood, and that's fine. That's all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all right. But I hope y'all had a good weekend too. I hope y'all enjoyed yourselves. You know what I'm saying? It's super hot outside, so I hope y'all being safe. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, let's hop into it. You know what I'm saying? I hope y'all enjoyed last week's episode. We had Dr. Precious Hardy, and we just talked about so many things. We talked about where she's from. We talked about the school system and urban communities. We talked about what it's like growing up in, you know, I don't want to say like low income, but you know what I'm saying, areas that struggle financially, you know, those types of places. And it was a really in-depth conversation, and I got a lot of good feedback about it. Personally, this is one of my favorite episodes that we did so far. So if you haven't checked it out already, I highly, highly, highly recommend you going to check that out. You know what I'm saying? The name of the episode is called What Happened. And I honestly, like, that's the entire theme of the episode, from when we talk about where she grew up in East St. Louis. You know what I'm saying? Come to find out, that place is what at one point in time was up and coming. You know, blacks were thriving. It was about to be one of those epicenters that I talked about in Special St. Paul. And, you know, what happened? You know what I'm saying? Race riots and so much more. And we talked about what happened. And now that's a place that is below the poverty line, and they struggle financially, and their school systems are struggling. The people in those communities are struggling. And we talk a little bit about, you know, how growing up in that type of place influences the type of work that she does. And she's an educational researcher. Educational psychologist, and she researches a lot of things like, you know, how can we improve the educational system in these areas, but doing it from a way of looking at it like, not like what we don't have, but looking at it in the terms of what are your strengths and how can we build on these strengths to make your situation better. And I think that's a really cool way to approach things, because so many people have looked at it from y'all are struggling. Why are y'all struggling? Versus like, what's, looking at it in a way like, what's going on here and how can we make that better? So a lot of her thoughts were just very, 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 very interesting. And you know what I'm saying? It wasn't all facts and, facts and the deep subject matter, that could be a little stressful, a little triggering, little, things like that. It was fun, it was definitely fun. We talked about, how we grew up, 90s babies, the shows that we watched, like having that entertainment, being able to watch shows like, the Parkers and Living Single and, In Living Color, those growing up in an era where you got to see positive Black influences on the TV, and then asking the question again, like, what happened? Because it's just like you look around now and it's a lot different. The representation of the Black community in popular media is way different than it used to be in the past. And granted, it's gotten a little bit better in the 2020s, but it took a little bit of a dip at one point in time. And I'm not saying that it's perfect now, because there's a lot that could be better about how we're represented in popular media, right? Am I right or am I wrong? Let's ask the question. What do y'all think? How do y'all feel about how Blacks are represented in popular media? What do y'all think? Like, let's have a conversation on it, because personally, I feel like it could be better. I don't feel like pop culture truly gives an authentic representation of what the Black community actually looks like. It always not always, but a lot of the times it shows us as caricatures. We're loud. We're, we're dancing. We're entertaining. We're above the top and just doing ratchet things. Like, y'all know, I'll be transparent. I got a vendetta. I don't necessarily like reality TV. Now, granted, have I watched it? Do I partake from time to time? Absolutely. But as time goes on, it doesn't sit quite right with me, because as I look around at my peers and things like that, it's almost like it looks like people are striving to live those lives, and it's just like, bro, like, this is not what life should look like. Like, life should not be this hard. Like, we shouldn't be waiting for the cutaway every time that you got to have a conversation with somebody. Everything shouldn't go to a fight. Like, we should be able to have conversations. Like, every Black person that's successful is not just a rapper or an athlete or a singer or a dancer. They're not just OnlyFans models and such and such and such and such. Like, we're so much more. We're doctors, we're lawyers, we're dentists, we're business owners. We're so much more than what we get shown as in popular culture and social media. And it's just like, what happened there? And how can we break this stereotype? How can we put more of who we really are in the forefront? Because at the end of the day, the people that I'm talking to, I'm a part of the culture. The people that I talk to are a part of the culture. We're the Black community too. And where is our representation in that positive light? Where is it at? Like, is it good how it is? Or do we need more of it? What do y'all think? Let me know. But yeah, that's a lot of what our conversation was about, and so much more. Like I said, I just highly recommend y'all checking it out and seeing for yourselves and letting us know what you think about it. Wherever you're watching it, drop a comment. Let us know what your thoughts on it were. If you are listening to it on one of the streamers and you want to comment on it, I'm on Facebook. Check us out. Thinker versus Speaker on Facebook. Every time that I post an episode, I post a picture there with a link to the video. Drop a comment on it. If you want to create a dialogue, or if you want to let me know something or bring something to my attention, drop it there. Let me know. Or you could just do it on YouTube. I always check the comments. I'm always there. So if it's anything that y'all ever want to say to me, drop it there. Let me know. But yeah, that leads me to this week's episode. Again, like I said, it was my birthday. I was doing birthday things, okay? And I was outside. And I'm not going to say there is no episode this week, because that's not true. we are in the middle of season 3, so it's a perfect opportunity for me to put out another Trust the Process. Don't you think? Don't you think? Like, we've had so many conversations. If I'm not mistaken, we're at like episode 15, 16, something like that. So it's about time for a Trust the Process. It's about time for a compilation episode, because we have had too many good conversations for me to not recap this right now. So it's time for us to do a recap episode. And the way that I'm doing it this time, so in the past, when I would do Trust the Process, I just pick at random, right? I just pick at random. This time, I'm going to do it a little different. This time, I'm going through YouTube. If you didn't know, if you don't watch me on YouTube, this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, check out the Thinker versus Speaker page. For the people who can't check out the full podcast, I always break them down into shorter clips that are just easily attainable. If you don't have an hour to sit and listen to an episode, sometimes they like an hour and a half. Sometimes, if you don't have that type of time to listen to that episode, that's cool. I break them down into shorter pieces, you know what I'm saying? And you can watch it that way. So, you know what I'm saying? You can watch it at your own pace, at your own leisure, you know what I'm saying? And it looks like y'all kind of like it when I do it that way. So shout out to y'all. I see y'all watching them. I appreciate it. So this time when I do Trust the Process, I'm going through and I'm getting the top videos, the top clips that we have from this season of Thinker versus Speaker. And I'm going to break those down and make Trust the Process with it. So keep an eye out for some of y'all favorite clips, you know what I'm saying? And if you're new to the show, if you haven't heard it before, it's a perfect opportunity to see the different types of conversations that we have on the show. Because honestly, it's all over the place. Ashton absolutely said it best in his episode. Can't remember which one it is. Ashton and I have done about like 5 episodes, so it's hard to tell which one is which with him. But he said it in one of the episodes, like, everybody brings out something different for the show, and I show up different in every episode of the show. So you know what I'm saying? If I talk to Key, you know what I'm saying, you get me and Key chopping it up. If I'm talking to Chanel, you get a different show with Chanel. If I'm talking to Trey, you get a different show with Trey. If I'm talking to Dre, you get a different show with Dre. So if you're trying to get a feel for the show, you haven't had a chance to check it out yet, this is the perfect opportunity to see what we're doing. Check out Trust the Process. And if you want to go back in time, just look for a Trust the Process. If you want to get an idea of what this show is and what it is that we do, Trust the Process. We got so many versions. We got the Lost Files. We got just the regular 1, 2, 3. You know what I'm saying? So definitely go check those out if you're trying to find out more about Thinker versus Speaker and what it is that we're doing here. So on that note, I'm not going to take up any more of y'all time. If y'all looking for me on social media, you can find me at MarissaY17 on Instagram, Marissa the Thinker on Facebook and YouTube. And if you're looking for Thinker versus Speaker, it's at Thinker versus Speaker on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, streaming everywhere on the streamers. Like I said, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, name them. We're there. So definitely make sure you go check out the show. I got a new episode coming next week that I'm super excited about. I'm getting back to recording. Literally, I record for the next 2 days, setting up some more in the next coming days. So we got a lot more episodes left, literally. Oh, and one last thing before I get out of here. You know what I'm saying? I put this post on Facebook. Shout out to y'all, those of y'all who responded. But like I said, if you are not new to this, you true to this, and you watch Thinker versus Speaker on a regular basis, I made a promise in the beginning of this season, and I said this season is going to be the best season yet. Now, I want to ask y'all, have I delivered? Or have I not? Am I delivering on that promise? And if I am, tell me what you like. If I'm not, tell me what you want to see. You know what I'm saying? And if you're interested in coming on the show, you got a topic that you want to hear me talk about, somebody that you want me to talk to, if you got a question that you think that I missed, or you want me to get more in depth with somebody about it, just let me know. I'm an approachable person. Drop it in the comments. And like I said, we can chop it up. But on that note, I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. I think this is the longest recap I've ever done. So I'm going to slide, and I'm going to see y'all tomorrow, all right? Appreciate all the birthday wishes and all of those things. You know what I'm saying? So I'm out of here. Later.